Let's jump right into who LifePulse is. LifePulse is a medical device company that is comprised of four divisions: human health, animal health, pharmaceutical, and research. And we are using a newly issued patents with an old technology. Electroporation has been around for 60 years. And the high end of it is what you may be familiar with Medtronic using for treating of AFib. The lower end, the lower power is just to create permeability for cellular delivery of therapeutics. And that is what we're doing to improve outcomes in both human and animal medicine using minimally invasive cancer treatments. The proprietary platform is called Intellipulse, and there's a lot of changes with it compared to the old technology. And right now we're sitting at about $2 million worth of secured orders, 20 issued patents, and we're perfectly positioned to redefine cancer care across multiple markets. So why did we look at veterinary medicine? Well, 90% of the 6 million dogs diagnosed with cancer each year are not treated. And the primary reason for that is money. So what happens when your dog has a tumor? First of all, you recognize there's something there. You take the dog to the vet. The vet says your dog has XYZ tumor, and here are your options. Here's your treatment plan. Well, the first thing they're going to suggest usually is surgery, which is very expensive and sometimes not a good idea depending on the tumor type because it can cause it to spread very quickly. Then there are also some alternative treatments that are newer drugs that are not really friendly to the animal. They're also expensive. And then there's radiation and systemic chemotherapy, which is the most expensive, can run anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 to treat your dog. So the need is huge. And we are after the 70% of people who would love to treat their animal, but the standard of care is just too expensive. And they don't want to put their animal through the side effects of just like with a human. Systemic treatment is painful. It's horrible what it does to your body. It does the same thing to dogs and cats. So if they had an option that was much less expensive, but just as effective, we know that 70% of them are going to take advantage of it. So the solution is our Intellipulse system, and this is the VetPulse 2000 device. It is differentiated in several ways, as we'll tell you here in a second. But the numbers there on the bottom just give you an idea of what the first markets that we're looking at. It's almost $60 billion worth of cancer spend between pancreatic, breast cancer, and skin cancer every year. On the human side and on the veterinary side, it's near $1 billion just in the US. So how is it differentiated? Well, the Intellipulse platform uses, first of all, heat. The scientists discovered that if you heat the tissue to 43 degrees centigrade at the time that you pulse it, it doesn't require all that energy. So previously, the old technology required 1,300 volts per centimeter to work at all. And we're using anywhere from 150 to 600. And we're reading impedance feedback in real time. What does that mean? All tissue has an electrical property. And as you pulse an electrical field into it to create permeability in the cell membrane, that property drops. And what our device is looking for is a certain percentage drop. And when it achieves that, the device knows and just stops pulsing. The old systems always either over or under treated, and either one of those outcomes are not good because one of them causes damage to the healthy tissue and the other one doesn't completely get at the tumor. So our device solves those issues. If you can see the pictures down here, you see the cell membrane prior to being pulsed is closed. The reason we have to have 30 rounds of chemo is because you can't put that molecule in the cell. But then when you put an electrical field into it, it creates pores. Electroporation creates pores on the cell membrane wall. And then after you finish, it closes back up and it heals. We're not trying to destroy the cell. We're just trying to open it up. So these are some pictures before and afters. This is a horse that was treated in Maryland, had a massive 9 by 8 by 5 centimeter sarcoid on the side of his head. And we treated it 3 times. And after 90 days, we have this result. This little dog here had about 15 or 20 squamous cell carcinoma on his nose, and we treated, and I believe we've got 3 left to go back and get. And this is just after 2 weeks. This picture here is from the first human clinical trial that Dr. Heller did at Moffitt Cancer Center in the 90s. This is a melanoma. It was treated 1 time with what would today be considered a test dose of bleomycin, an old chemotherapy drug. And 30 days later, you've got this amazing result here of you can't even tell that it was ever there, as you can see here. This video is of a cat being treated for squamous cell carcinoma, and you can see the cat is sedated. The white liquid in the Lurlock syringe is propofol, just what we would have for a procedure. And you can also see the needles being inserted directly into the tumor itself. Well, that's really important because that enables us to get into the tumor. The drug's already been injected 5 minutes before we started, and now that tumor is being opened up to receive that drug. And the result is that cat was completely recovered, had no further ongoing issues, and now does not have cancer. So what are the addressable markets like? In animal health, the reason why we went here first is because this requires no FDA, there is no FDA path. There is no 510K, no PMA, no de novo, doesn't exist. So you just make what you're doing and go. So we did, and there's 38,000 companion animal practices, that's dog, cats in the United States, 2,000 equine practices. Brazil and Argentina, the old technology down there is the standard of care. And they are begging for us to come. We're going in November. They understand the difference because they're very familiar with the technology and they want us down there. 10% of the US market, because this is not just a device sale, this is a device and a disposable called an electrode. The electrode pops on the end of the handle, pulses the field, and then you throw it away. So 10% of that market at 15 procedures per month on average is about $900 million of recurring revenue. In the human health side, our first clinical trial will be for pancreatic tumors. There's 70,000 pancreatic surgeries every year. There is a $2 billion surgery market, the Mohs surgery. That is a surgery that my friend in the picture here had, where they basically put you in a chair and they cut a slice, freeze it, come back 45 minutes later, cut another slice until they don't find any cancer. Well, you can be in the chair anywhere from a couple hours to 10 or 12 hours, like my friend here was in the chair for 10. And you can also see that the melanoma, the pictures there are post-ECT. You don't have any scarring. My friend, unfortunately, was subject to that. So what's our revenue model? The direct device sales, of course, there's a $28,000 price. The retail's $34,900. The newer iterations coming out will not have discounts like they do now, but right now we're at $28,000, roughly a 57% margin. The disposables per procedure run about an average of 150, and they'll average about 15 per month. Those have a 75% margin. On the human side, on the human side, if I can go back up, we think that the dermatology device will run about $50,000 and be $400 single use, the 100,000 in the hospital and 5,000 single use, and probably around the same margins. We expect to achieve breakthrough status, which will give us our Medicare, Medicaid codes, according to the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. So orders and options. This is a purchase order from Louisiana State University Vet School for small animal hospital. You can see that the amount's $28,967, and that's off of the $34,900 retail. And we have a co-branded leasing agreement that many of these standalone hospitals take advantage of because it gives them the ability to delay the payments anywhere from 60 days up to a year so that they can build their case count up. And the strategy there is that they don't ever come out of pocket except for the electrodes before they're making money. Once they're doing one case per month, that pays for the device. Everything else is profit, and they'll net about $800 per case. So the traction that we've received so far, the market validation, 2.2 million roughly in device orders. We expect to do somewhere between 5 and 20 million in the next 12 to 24 months. We have 20 patents. There are now 2 pending. We've got at least 15 years of protection there. We also are the happy recipient of $35 million of non-dilutive investment in the form of NIH and NCI grants to the universities and to the company. We're about to get another $2 million SBIR direct to phase 2 grant for a translational trial in canine metastatic melanoma. On the regulatory side, we filed a pre-submission to the FDA and have permission to use the NanoKnife, just like Medtronic, J&J, Boston, and Abbott have done for their pulse field ablation devices. And then we will file for our breakthrough, the IND and the IDE for drug delivery. On the veterinary side, we're down to we're at terms, and hopefully we'll sign the agreement with Patterson Veterinary. They are a $6 billion veterinary device or veterinary distribution company worldwide, and the agreements for the US, the UK, and Canada initially. And then we are in discussions with some of these companies. They have all expressed an interest. Some are further than others, and we'll see where that goes. So the timeline. In 93 to 98, Dr. Heller ran the phase 1 trials at Moffitt Cancer Center for treating metastatic melanoma. In 97, that was published in the American Academy of Dermatology. In 2000, Dr. Heller, Dr. Jaroszewski, and Dr. Gilbert wrote the textbook that still is used today, and you can order it on Amazon. In 2001, it was published in the European Journal of Cancer Liver Tumors. 2010, the first multiple electrode array publication came out, and that was a game changer. In 2012, Dr. Heller did gene transfer to the beating heart of swine for regrowth of healthy tissue and treating of ischemia. In 2016, the first in vivo paper for using heat came out. In 2018, this company was born. We started as a distribution company for the French veterinary device and then met Dr. Heller. In 2022, we had already acquired the patents and were building our first prototype devices. So we spent 2 years traveling around the United States, treating dogs, cats, horses, and even a rat for cancer. And in 2022, we did the first standing equine treatment ever done with this modality. That's never been achieved, and that was amazing to watch that happen. In 2024, late 2024, we launched a VetPulse 2000, and as we said, we're sitting at about 2 million in revenue and expect to sign with Patterson anytime. And in 2026, With Patterson, we expect to cross the $15 million revenue mark. So the leadership is me, as CEO and chairman. Frank Carlier is the chief technical officer. Dr. Gerald Sokol, chief medical. Bill Gilmore is our CFO. Dr. Michael Francis is a world-renowned scientist, inventor, is being inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame. More than 100 patents, 100,000 patients, $500 million of revenue generated by his efforts. And on the scientific and regulatory consultants, Dr. Heller, of course, Dr. Jaroszewski, both of them are in the National Academy of Inventors as fellows. Dr. Chelsea Tripp is our veterinary consultant. Dr. Fleming is the head of Connexum, our FDA translational guidance company, and Rick Flath is our senior advisor that has run his own private equity firm and is the co-chair of the New England Licensing Executive Society. So what are we looking for here? We need to raise $12 million to cross several timelines. The Intellipulse delivery for veterinary application, building the surgical device, which is our 510(k) device, engineering and building the dermatology device, which is the second clinical trial, crossing those regulatory pathways, achieving 10 million in veterinary revenue, and bringing on some other rock stars in the med device space. The cap structure right now, the share price is 4.61. The PPM is coming out with a lower share price and is going to be very favorable for investors for preferred shares. So look for that to come along with what you'll receive. So we thank you very much for your time, your attention, and please let us field some questions. We would love to answer them. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Let me see. Thank you, Gary. Let's just jump in. We have some time. We have about 9 minutes. So let's do number one. How is Patterson Veterinary enabling scale, and is their buy-in contractual or discretionary?
That's a great question. So Patterson is required to buy in. The only way they get paid, the only way they make any money is by buying in and increasing their sales.
Very good. The next question is, given your seasoned team and early traction, are there active conversations with strategics like Medtronic or Intuitive about licensing, co-development, or outright acquisition? And if so, how would that look?
That's a great question. As you know, those kind of deals can be structured 1,000 different ways. The Intuitive flew Dr. Heller out to spend the day with them a little over a year ago, and we're still talking with them about what they want to use our technology for. We know there's interest from a couple of other players. Can't really talk about that quite yet. We are under NDA, so we can't, but yes, we intend to do that. We intend to either spin off the animal health side, license for field of use. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to do that deal, and we'll work toward the most advantageous one for the shareholders.
Excellent. How will the dermatological and surgical human use devices integrate with existing clinical workflows? Are you designing around MOHS surgery timing or envisioning standalone use cases?
So what we're planning to do in the dermatology space, we're going to partner with a company called Novascan. Richard Piazza, that you saw as a board member, well, you didn't see, but Richard's a board member. Richard sold that company to Panasonic May a year ago for 130 million, and they have a cancer detection device. It's not a diagnostic, doesn't tell you the type of cancer, just tells you, oddly enough, using impedance feedback on a specific wave, if that tissue has cancer. We're going to go to the regular dermatologist, not Mohs surgeon. Mohs surgeons are going to hate this because we're going to cut into their business. You can be in and out of the chair with our procedure using NovaScan's detection device, just like they would in Mohs to detect cancer, except you'll be in and out of the chair in 30 minutes. You won't feel pain, you won't get cut, you won't have a scar, but you'll still be cancer free.
Very good.
Oh, by the way, on the pancreatic side, yes, the surgeon that is doing our first clinical trial does not like using the nanoknife. That's what he's using currently and has for a long time. But he understands our technology, knows why it's going to be better for him and for the patient. And so we expect to fully integrate that at two levels, one for ablation that is the 510(k) predicate, and the other for drug delivery, which is the breakthrough status.
We have many, many more, so let's just keep going. For the VetPulse
Okay.
2000, are there any active studies quantifying local recurrence or tumor-free survival versus surgery or radiation in companion animals?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there have been several studies uh, similar to that or right along that line with the old technology that's been around. It's been the vet space for, gosh, 15, almost 20 years in Europe and about 15 years in the US. Um, and we have a study that is just being published that shows that our technology is 75% more effective than the old technology. We have a study that is going to be published soon that does show the non-recurrence rates and the overall 100% objective response rates. And a third study that is going to, that's what the $2 million SBIR is for. It'll be a 2-year study that will start soon for a clinical trial, translational for canine metastatic melanoma, and that will be at Purdue University is the primary site, and two private sites, one in Seattle and one in California.
Off of that, have you observed any measurable differences in tumor response between your veterinary sarcoid and squamous cell carcinoma cases that could inform indication expansion or protocol refinement?
Yes, that's a really good question. So we have, we keep dialing this in and plan to use AI in the VetPulse 3000, which will have two additional components to it, just like the human device. We're going to build AI into that because we are seeing, because we don't require the amount of uh, power, we also don't require the amount of drug that the old technology does. So the old protocols that were written, the latest ones were written in 2022. The two veterinary oncologists and the scientists that wrote them are all part of our group. Those two vets are in Brazil and Argentina. They're two of the people that have invited us to the University of Buenos Aires that we're going to in November. Um, we know that we're going to need to continue refining it because the better this gets, the less drug and the less power that it will require to accomplish better results. If that makes sense. So yes, there'll be an ongoing revision until we perfect it.
We've about time for one more question. Um, with the 35 million in non-dilutive flowing through university partners and to the company, what steps are being taken to centralize IP control and convert academic work into commercial milestones?
That's what we're doing, period. We've already converted the patents into commercialization on the veterinary side. We are actively working toward Rick Flath, who is the co-chair of the Licensing Executive Society in New England, and our scientists have been working for several weeks now on our IP strategy, and so we're excited to finalize that. So yes, we're paying close attention to that, and our licensing deals with the universities are, uh, I don't think we'll ever get those again. They're too good. they're they're exceptionally good, and those license agreements, should someone want to take a look at them, there will be bits and pieces of them. All of it we can't disclose for the universities, but there will be bits and pieces of them put in the data room.
Excellent. With that, I'll just kick it back over to you briefly for 15 to 20 seconds to close it out and tell everyone how they could reach out if they're interested. And I'd like to thank you again, Gary, for joining us for the Trinity Financing Investor Conference.
Thanks, Jimmy. I really appreciate the opportunity. And the only thing that I would tell you is that if um, you can invest in a lot of things, and there'll be several other companies after us that certainly are outstanding companies. It's not often that you get an opportunity to invest in something that is a game changer in medicine that could impact millions of lives. This is what LifePulse is. Thank you.